morning, beautiful friends. It is May 31st, 2025. My name is Paula. My dragon name is Crystal. I am an aquamarine water dragon. And I'm also, my pen name is PB Moreland, as I am the author of 4 books in the White Bird series. And with my protagonist, whose name is Crystal Blue. And so oftentimes I feel that I am Crystal Blue as well, as that is my dragon's name. I am a dragon. I am the soul. My soul is from the dragon realm. And so today, on this beautiful sunny morning, the last day of May, which is a favorite month of mine, as most spring and summer months are, I thought I would just pop on and share with you a few things that I've noticed in our world, share a few personal experiences of mine, because I know firsthand how important it is to feel like I belong, like my feelings are heard, that others feel the same way I do, because sometimes if you walk the path I walk, you feel a bit isolated. And so, as always, because I'm growing my channel, please subscribe and please like this video if you enjoy it and share with your friends, and please leave a comment. And I have a question for you. Let's start this video out with a question. How are you today? How are you feeling? Do you feel accepted in this world? Do you feel that your role or your voice is validated? I would like to hear from you. As others, as you might know, I can't assume that you do because I don't know all of you. It's very important to be part of a group of like-minded individuals, souls who, like myself, who have been awakening for eons, let's say, and this is the last chapter of the awakening soul, the awakening human being. Our planet is in a fast, high vibrational ascension, and our planet and all the systems upon it understand this and are acting accordingly. With change, sometimes it's quite startling. There's beauty in change. And just like the butterfly going through metamorphosis, if you've ever seen the video of what happens to the caterpillar when they make their cocoon, and in the cocoon, it's quite fascinating how they just melt. They literally melt in the chrysalis and transform in that metamorphosis. It's a cyclical change into this beautiful being of the butterfly. And so my character, Crystal Blue, in my books, my first novel, I'm going to hold it up here. I don't usually do this. Because I am not here to promote my books. I love my books. I think they're very important. I started writing them, 15 years ago, or longer than that. I started in 1995 when my children were very small. And if you ever purchase a book of mine, you will read a short biography written by me about the beginnings of the storyline. And I wrote these books in times of awakening, yes, but I don't think the population were ready for the stories. These stories are about right now. So that's why it's exciting for me to realize this, to have this confirmed by a few very wise souls. and just to keep going about my everyday life. In 2015, my last book was released, Blue Crystal Mountains, and I had a leap in consciousness, let's say a quantum leap in consciousness, which was just revealed to me. Even though I knew it at the time, I didn't know how to exactly pinpoint what happened. But all of a sudden, my characters in my story in Crystal Blue, I had just started writing book 5, entitled Blue Flames Rising. And it's about the dragons are rising. And my character goes to a country, and I won't divulge that because if you start reading my books, why would I take away that wonderful surprise? And my character just started quieting down all my characters. I have this huge imagination. And when I wrote the first 4 books, the story just poured out of me. And then it came to an abrupt halt. And it was pretty disturbing to me. I was quite frustrated. I just could not come up with any more storyline. But I refused to battle that, so I set it aside. And what happened was I had this awakening in my soul, in my imagination process, in the writing process, that just didn't hold to the same style of writing that I had been writing from. That said, I'll go back a few minutes when I said I don't usually do this, but I don't usually bring up my books in such detail because I do devote other videos where I start reading from the books themselves. I have already written or read to you the prologue and chapter 1 from Illuminating Crystal. It's backwards, I do apologize, but what do you do about that? The second book is called Crystal Blue Sky, and as you can see, there's butterflies. There's blue butterflies on the cover of the novel, because in the story, blue butterflies are a very important piece of one of Crystal's transformations. I'll show you the cover of Little Blue Star, where there's the white feather. And the white feather is a very important piece of the story, as the series is titled Whitebird Series. And the last book that I wrote is titled Blue Crystal Mountains. And these books are extremely special to my heart. I will always cherish the time spent writing and researching, as there were hours and hours devoted to the research of the ancient tribes that Crystal visits. And very soon I feel the story starting to wake up. I do feel that. My characters are starting to stir in my imagination, and I'm excited to begin writing again. And I do feel that Crystal, my protagonist, has changed to such a degree that she was almost in that metamorphosis stage. And when you choose to read book 5, which I feel is extremely important and apropos, is the state of being, because I did write a few hundred pages of book 5 before I came to this. It was like a brick wall just slammed down, or this garage door just went whoosh right over the storyline, and I have a lot of characters in play. I weave them together. There's many different groups of beings that are all experiencing their lives at the same time, and they're all familiar with each other, but they have particular roles to play in this story, and they're not always in the same place, which is typical for stories. But I have quite a few characters, a couple dozen, and they're all extremely important in their own way. And every one of them just quietly stopped talking to me. And so Blue Flames Rising, I know this summer and then into fall and winter, I feel very excited to jump right back into the story where Crystal is patiently waiting in a stage of metamorphosis. And you will figure that out when you read the book and you'll go, oh, I know what Paula meant when she talked about that. Because when a butterfly is in a cocoon, they're in their stage of metamorphosis. And Crystal is in a type of cocoon in the story in the beginning of book 5. I will leave it at that. And again, whenever I have a conversation with you, I'm having a cup of coffee, so I must have that before it gets cold. And I will tell you that my last video that I made, I was in this process of a change happening at work. Maybe it wasn't a change, but it was a challenge, an experience with some people at work who have a different idea of how they think I should be doing my job. I'm going to say this in all kindness and fairness because I can never assume what someone else is going through in their own evolution. So there are characters in your world who you will encounter, who you've put there on purpose to help you as a mirror. Find your own voice, find your power in a very graceful, affirming way. And this has happened to me at where I work in a few ways. And it has happened numerous times. I feel that I am a change agent. And again, some of this has been confirmed when I meet with some wise souls in meditation and other ways that I don't really need to divulge because everyone has their own personal way of communicating with ascended masters, their own soul, their own master self, to help kind of navigate through these times. And there's nothing better than having your own feelings authenticated and confirmed as, yes, this is what is happening. And so oftentimes through my life, when I have started a job, it doesn't take very long before things start changing where I work. People are let go, other people are hired, things are completely rearranged. And I didn't realize this until maybe about 10 years ago. And I thought, wow, it just seems to happen all the time. I start working somewhere, and all of a sudden, roles shift fast. And I encounter, because I've worked in the service industry since, ever since my early adult years as a waitress. I loved waitressing. I loved the freedom that it brought me when I was young. I tried college for a few years, and man, it was like caging a bird. I couldn't, I struggled in school, not as far as academically, although I never really applied myself because for some reason I felt I didn't want them to know the real me. I didn't want them to see my creative genius. I can't tell you why, other than I knew it wouldn't be honored. So I pretended to be much smaller in mind than I really was. And then they left me alone, let's say, because I just didn't want to sit in that classroom. I wanted to be outside. There were times, yes, where I enjoyed myself in school. There were beautiful times in school because of some friends and some teachers who did see me. They saw the real me, and then in turn, I saw them. And so there wasn't all shadows in school. There were some beautiful times, but my soul didn't want to be there. Just wanted to be out playing with the horses and the rabbits and the squirrels and the dogs and the cats. And on and on. And so in my adult years, I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to pursue art. So I went to a particular college that had beautiful art classes. In fact, my professor, um, I can't think of his name. His last name was Engel, and I do have a few of his pieces. He's a beautiful artist. Opened something in me as an artist, and but it just couldn't hold me in school. And then I went to the Minneapolis and St. Paul campuses and pursued interior design because I thought, well, at least I can earn an income. And that was pretty brutal. Although I did really appreciate my art history classes and all my texture classes. And so now I have a real solid background in color and textures and all that comes with that. And so what I really discovered was I started working at a restaurant in nearby where I live here. And I met the most wonderful people. And that's when my journey with alcohol began. Pretty tame at first, but then this girl, um, alcohol opened something in me. This wildness, this wild free spirit who nobody could tame. And that was the voice in me that was like, yeah, this is fun. This is it. But then it bit me in the back, as most of you who resonate with the world of drinking. I always knew deep down inside me that drinking was not a good idea. Let's say I didn't say it was wrong, but because I clung onto that so fiercely, that part of me who opened up after a few drinks, man, you couldn't stop me. I was a force. Um, and and then of course the next day or the next few days, I felt quite sheepish if I had gone too far, which oftentimes I did. And then as I grew older and matured, had my children, thank goodness I never ever put them in harm's way, ever. Um, while I was pregnant, never drank, and once I knew, and then as they were young children, never ever drank around them. But I did work in restaurants, so oftentimes I'd stay after, knowing my husband was home with the children. And I admit this freely because it doesn't make me a bad person to be have the allergy of alcoholism. It's not an addiction. It's I have my body had an allergy, and it's an allergy of the body, spirit, and emotional. It's just, if you are an alcoholic or you have walked in those shoes, you understand what I'm talking about. And I bring that up now, weaving it into the story, because I had, in 2000, I went through a treatment program based in AA. And AA saved my life and those in AA, my sponsor. And I clung on to that program as fiercely as I clung on to my drinking. And it just changed my life completely once I set that drink down. And my spirit, which was so close, and my soul just blossomed without the alcohol. And it was, I thought for sure before I went through treatment, I thought for sure that I would die, because there was no way I could possibly have fathomed, let's say in the late 1990s, to be able to survive and breathe and live without alcohol, because I did not know how to stop. I had tried various ways. But once I had that thought in my head, nothing could stand in my way between me and that next drink. And so I breathed this sigh of relief, and this is 25 years later. Alcohol has no hold on me at all. And what a beautiful thing. I do understand the hell that an alcoholic lives in. A lot of this, the people in the world, they don't understand, and they don't need to really, because if you don't have that alcoholic sense and that physical longing, and you try hard not to drink, and you try, and then all of a sudden, 2 days later, it's like, oh, did it again. And some people look at you and go, why can't you just stop? How, you've done so many things wrong while drinking. Why can't you just stop? They don't understand. They're not in our shoes. They will never understand. But it's up to you to do the work. It's up to you to do the work and find someone who can help you. And do what you don't want to do, and don't do what you want to do. Those are magic words. Magic words. But I'm not here to talk about that either, although it's part of my story. And if you resonate with it, leave a comment. This is a very clean energy site here, my YouTube channels. If you are struggling in any way, I'm sure you're not alone. So how are you? Do you feel that you are drinking too much, or you cannot manage it anymore? Then reach out to someone who knows how to help you. But so that's why I was a waitress, because it fit really nicely, even as a mother. But then it started to combat my longing to be a good, clean, clear spiritual guide for my beautiful daughters and my husband at the time. And today, in 2025, so much has happened. And I am wide awake. I am an awakened soul who's on this beautiful journey of love and compassion. But it takes a lot of work. You cannot shy away from hard work. And hard work doesn't mean that you will lose everything. I'm going to jump back to 25 years ago when I went through treatment. I was terrified that if I admitted that I was powerless over something, that my family would be taken away from me, that I would lose my lifestyle. And it was important to me to have my daughters, who are my cherished possessions to this day, and they always will be. They came in. I'm very aware of the moment they were born. They were brought in. I'm very aware of the moment they were conceived. These two very beautiful angelic souls. And I knew I needed to change. Just lost my train of thought. I got it back. I was terrified I would lose everything if I admitted that I was powerless over alcohol. But the beauty of it, if you're terrified of, because again, there's a fear of losing what you have and not getting what you want. It's another one of those human things. But I did it anyway. I knew that if I did not stop drinking, that I would lose everything anyway. So what else could I lose? So today, in these challenges that everyone faces, there are thousands of people, I don't really know the count that I say, that are awakening, that are being challenged, because you're doing shadow work when you're being challenged. Your soul is behind you like a huge force, placing you, giving you these nudges of what you need to do in order to basically align all your aspects. Your aspects are merging, and your aspects are all the different parts of yourself that are either still traumatized in this lifetime or other lifetimes, that are searching for answers, that are just waking up and realizing that there are parts of you that need acknowledgement. Your inner child. I have this very beautiful relationship with my inner child, and it took work. It took facing traumatic situations I needed to be very brave and very honest and open and patient with my inner child, who I had ignored in my adult years, especially when I was drinking. I had ignored her completely, and she suffered for it. But now she's okay. She's forgiven me, let's say. And she knows now that she's safe with me and I'm safe with her, because oftentimes my inner child is my master self. And I had to work for it. So there are hundreds of people in the world who can help with your inner child work, who can help if you're struggling with any addictions or um, any avenue that you need. You just reach out. Reach out to me. If I have a question for you, how are you today? Please leave a comment. And I will try as hard as I can to read every comment and respond. And so that is where we are at today, at the very last day of May 2025. Life is beautiful. It's grand. It's also, as I've said, and I repeat myself in these videos because it's important. Not everybody is going to see my videos, and not everybody's going to watch every single video. Why should they? But I do want to remind you that life is beautiful and it will get easier. And there's freedom in flying. These are some of the titles of my past videos. And we are needed. Our souls are needed. Our human essence is needed by the cosmos. Not just humans on this planet, but the cosmos is watching and waiting for this gorgeous planet of ours to blast off with all the inhabitants upon her back, fully intact. Our planet has experienced various ages where there has been cataclysmic catastrophes, where most of the humans and the animals, let's say, on the planet have been destroyed because of various earthly changes. But not this time. Not this time. We are in the fifth age. We have entered the fifth age. We are in the times of the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, where we are our frequency is raising beyond measure. Beings from the cosmos are watching closely. The galactic beings are right here. The veil is lifting. In fact, the veil is basically gone. The veil between dimensions. Because what we see with our eyes is only 1%, 99.9%, let's say, of reality we cannot see with our visual lenses in this 3D body. But that's changing. People are starting to see orbs, light flashes. Many people can see the galactic beings, angels. I haven't yet but I won't say gotten there because I don't look at it as a destination. I have other ways of knowing. I have I'm clairsentient. I feel things. I'm not clairvoyant. I don't see, even though I do in my dreams. But that's okay because I know. I'm a knowing being. I can sense things. My intuition is on. And I'm wide awake. And I'm here if you ever need anyone to talk with, because these can be challenging times. So with that, I am going to have one more sip of coffee in honor of you, my beautiful friend. Here's my blue crystal dragon who was with us the whole entire time. I am a dragon. I can be very passionate. I can be big. I'm a force. When I drank, it was almost like the real me came through, felt comfortable showing herself, because I was very guarded in my younger years. due to different things happened when I was quite young. So I was very guarded to show my real self, but she sure came through. And if you were in my way, boom, sometimes I would just push you out of my way, as I say, as a wild child. So here's my dragon. It's just a little representation. And my dragon egg, who I have with me all the time, and the bell. We will ring the bell. And I always ring the bell for the children because children have been abused on our planet for particular services, and it's a dark story. We are out of the dark story, but there are still remnants of that energy lingering on our planet. And the bells are being put back in the churches, and some wonder why they were taken away. Do your own research. So we ring the bell in the honor of the children. Play well together. This is a grand time to be alive. Acknowledge those you pass with a smile and a nod. They need your acknowledgement, and I acknowledge you. Have a gorgeous day. Namaste.